The lighting's a bit off, I know, because it's currently 3 in the morning here, and the general lighting of the room is not that good. So I've got 2 lamps and darkness behind me. I wanted to get this recording out as quick as possible, which isn't that quick. It's, at this point, it's been a full day since we hit 500 subscribers, and with schedule-wise, I hadn't been able to get my usual recording time, and so here I am at 3 a.m. But thank you. Seriously, I know 500 on the scheme of YouTube and the whole internet and the world might not seem like a lot, but I've had stage fright in person in front of way less people in a public space. 500. And in the amount of time as well. I set up the channel around August 3rd, and the first video, I can't quite remember when it came out, it was in August, like 10 days after, August 20th-ish, was a Starfield video. Because I had thoughts I wanted to get out, and I thought I'd do it in a read. Because I like to talk about games. Did you know that? But of some of these, then after, I felt like, oh, I could do better. And at that time, I had 3 subscribers or something. Don't remember. But I'm like, I can do better. And I go to do a game I've been enjoying at that time, that I'd gotten into in the boomer shooter genre, Ultra Kill. And I did the Ultra Killed video. That did a bit better. I got a few more subscribers, and honestly, to you folk, I'm not sure if you'd be okay with your names displayed, and I don't exactly remember them and don't want to necessarily say them, but I do remember the icon looks, and I still look like all those generous comments, all those polite comments, definitely got a subscription, why does this channel not have more subscribers? On my second video, I mean, thank you. Thank you. Jumping up to around 14. Do a Destiny video on a bunch of the seasons, do some shorts. And then we get to Spell-A-Day. I want to talk about D&D, and even before starting the channel, I had another thing going, which was right there. You might have seen it in the earlier Spell-A-Days, and it's been in the background of some recent videos, Roll Trauma. It's a D&D actual play podcast that I DM, run some of my homebrew and my setting, and it's where you roll for it and get it from rolling. Hope you like Eldritch things. Heading out, getting a spell a day, seeing that challenge, and wanting to make a commitment for myself that I can set a goal and then get it done. That I am going to release 1 episode a day of a spell a day with 3 homebrew, because that player's handbook has 362 spells, including cantrips. And so my 3 homebrew thrown in, we'll get 365. The day that the first one was uploaded will also be the day, unless I'm doing my math wrong, won't be. There will be the anniversary celebrating the end of this. And the people hopping onto these, stumbling upon or finding or looking out for some spell guide and picking on my dumb face and sticking around. That was in mid-October. It's nearing the end of December now. But within that time frame, how far the channel's gotten and how well each video does compared to any of the stuff I did before and other experiences online and stuff. Like, actually making something I'm a bit passionate about not just, I mean, 5e I've ran for 7 years. So, I've ran some other games in that time. I've played plenty of other games in that time, tabletop, video, or otherwise. But I don't really know all the details of the spell, but I have a passing summation of a lot of them, and I have opinions on the game, how it's handled in world building. And I'm really passionate about that. I could talk about that on end, and I do with people. And I did enjoy editing some of those videos and doing those animatics on that other channel, and actually talking about the things I like. And so to actually like put that passion and some of that effort and work and strain and time on the scheduling, and to make that commitment of, I think at this point, this is being uploaded, I think the same day this is being recorded, just a bit later. So about 76 daily uploads, alongside the occasional off one in addition. Not a loss, in addition, an additional video. 76. And some of those are a bit heftier than others. Oh my god, contagion. And throughout that as well, things have changed a bit. I mean, I'm learning as I go along, the difference in music, editing speed, and just different interacting in comments. Again, for the purposes of like privacy and such, I don't want to say your name here. Well, exception to one, Moth. You go. I don't know why you write egg, but I appreciate it, I guess. I enjoy that you are keeping up with the series. Oh. But some of you as well, I recognize, I've chatted to, and it really... $500. I would love to... I already write. I DM. There's a podcast, again, Roll Trauma. There's a YouTube channel for it and a Spotify link in the description, likely. I do creative things, and I'd like to do creative things for a living. And I enjoy this. And I keep saying "and" because I'm struggling for words when being earnest. You are all making that come true. There was a doubt. I mean, there's still a bit of doubt, but, there's doubt that this is going to do well, or that anyone's even going to pick up on the series, or that, like, especially if, like, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to, like, cover every spell? Not everyone's going to want every spell. They're just going to want the big name ones. Do the fireball meme like XP to level 3, or talk about something about with Aura of, or Blur with Pack Tactics. Or Treant Monk covering another one, or some big, or D&D Shorts covering some of the, like, oh, here's the most broken combo. No offense to any of those guys. They're great. Yeah, they're great. Animated Spellbook as well. There are a lot of both other channels that do some of this stuff, and of those, like, big spells and big, like, flashy, hey, click on this video, or here's the most broken spell combo. I kind of don't like that. When it came to the series, it's both commitment and getting it actually done, but also honestly wanting to cover an off-ray video for every spell. Because there are some that don't really have much elaboration, description, or actual in-depth look into. Sometimes they're just read out. Sometimes it's just a link to a picture or PNG, and maybe a graph next to it. Maybe. But I wanted an honest discussion. And the comments section, as the series gone on, my heart has always warmed at how much actual discussion goes on in the comments. About the pricing of certain material components, about the actual utility versus other spells or mundane objects, about whether this is actually worth it when compared to the classes that can get access to it, or the specific differences in ratings, or the interpretations of rules, whether you follow the errata or not, or there's so many. And the stories of other people's tables, of characters doing crazy things, with the spells we're talking about. This is what I wanted. To make things that you enjoy, that people love, come back to, that people actually get a use out of. A good time and a bright spot in someone's day. As much as it is a bit of mine making these. Sure, things get stressful here and there, but seeing one of those finished videos up, it's always nice. $500 of you. That's a big number. God, 500. Though, with touchy-feely, a bit. I don't think touchy-feely is going to stop. I keep looking at that number and still am gawking at it. I don't even, there's so many YouTube milestone videos, celebrations, and doing some big spectacular thing, and I thought about doing something like that, but I didn't want to put prep into it ahead of time. I felt a take away from honestly giving what I feel, or some kind of earnestness, or telling them it's different, or recording, and also like, oh well, who's expecting something big for who 500? There's no other big videos of 500, but man, like, other celebration videos on milestones of 100,000, or the golden play button, or silver play button, or massive number leaps, 500k or something. But that's them. That's their channel. And for me, 500 is something I didn't think I'd reach in years. I thought Spell a Day might get some heads, maybe 40 views over the course of a few months. I am blown away by the people coming to this channel, spying on what's actually going on, or looking up to the spells, but the discussions that go on, the people continuing to watch, the jokes and comments, the community that's formed. The fact that potentially, the fact that this proves that I'm doing something right. I'm still trying to do better. I mean, you could even look back at just Spell a Day alone and going through the daily videos and seeing oh, here's a change here. Here's just a different camera angle or a different lighting system, which sometimes I forget, like I did with this one. Though it's hasty. And I'm just going to keep gushing. So thank you. And now on to some of the other business. So, I do some other things. The homebrew spells, there is only one out so far, which I am so thankful for all of you who have contributed to that. Comments-wise and potentially sharing it. But that's the other part I want to talk about. Blessing Seal, by the way. It's the first +1 in the playlist or down the list of videos. It's around 30. And, well, that's done great. I'm so thankful for everyone who's been in there. I love for that to be a community project. As in almost everyone either going back or sharing it with other people, and everyone leaving their own little bits and hints of what they would do with it, or testing it out at their tables, or sending it off to other people that do spells or reviews of some kind. I'd really like that to be that +1, that +2, that +3. By the end of this series, what I have planned is finally putting those all into one video. Within the end, what I eventually settle on, but mentioning, giving credit, you can mention if you don't want it. I'll ask you when that video is coming up in, in almost a year. But a bit of the fruit of the labor of looking over other spells and how things are balanced and the different ratings we've given and attempting to make things to match up or equal to or to fit in. To fit a niche. So, along with a few other things I'm going to ask you to do for this, head down to Blessing Seal. Share it with people, share it with friends, share it with family even, I don't know. Send it out to some other D&D YouTuber you want to see do some short or some brief description or even just a comment on the video. And with that, and the collaboration of the community and other people as well, other collabs. Now, some other YouTubers, D&D YouTubers, I would love to do collabs with. As in, like, a Spell-A-Day video, or come on for a Spell-A-Day, give a description. I have some in mind, and there's some that I definitely don't think will give the time of day to look at that ask. And others I think will. And I'd like you to point some out that you think other people either around this range or definitely not. Million subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, even around like 40 subscribers or less, or other YouTubers or D&D YouTubers that you'd like to see do a Spell-A-Day, or help with one, or be in a collab, or see me on other channels. I'm still relatively new to actually being within this space or existing within it. So the actual networking and collabing side of things, I haven't done. I have no idea. So if there's anyone, mention them to me. We'll see what comes up, or mention the series, link them the Blessing Seal if you want their opinion on something, or just some of the other series or channels. Yeah. Also, namely, there's one in particular, like, I know it's very unlikely, but XP to level 3, if somehow this makes it to you, when this makes it to you, and if Fireball video hasn't passed yet, you know what to do. You know what to do, viewers. All right? And some of the other notes are generally that, similar to other stuff and content, and Roll Trauma, which I mentioned earlier. If I'm being honest, the earlier episodes are a bit shaky in audio quality and the general flow of things. But read some brief descriptions. Likely going to be some new, like, catch-up episodes. If I was to generally give it a vibe, at around episode 10, mix in Eldritch Horror, distant colonial empire fleet of tieflings, off in some distant fog-drenched, hellish location. Madness ensues. So give it a listen. And, well, I'm not the biggest fan of it. And then that call to action segment of most YouTube channels, even though it does seem like I had 3 separate call to actions just now. But again, just like the video, or seeing what that becomes, or the collabs, or Roll Trauma, or some of the other stuff, let's see what this channel and Spell-A-Day, or this series, or the other episodes, and what this grows into. And this has two folds of a call to action. First off is the general like, subscribe, share, especially that last one. A buddy who's trying to learn a spell or play a new class, or, oh man, speaking of which, the people who have been commenting and saying, oh, I'm new to the game, or I'm a new DM, or listening through, it warms my heart you're all listening. It really does. Showing that I actually am helping in that regard and not just spouting some color and dumb jokes. But the second one, the call to action, is in the comments. What do you like or dislike about the channel or series? And that doesn't mean dislike button. But what would you like to... I'd like you to go to the comments and mention what you'd like to see or are currently enjoying from Spell-A-Day or from some of my other videos. And mention it down in the comments below. What would you like to see here? What would you like to see in the current series I'm running? And I do have physical and mental and limitations in everything. But I'll try to apply. I'll try to apply what you've said. I mean, I'll definitely look it over. I read through almost every comment. The only ones I kind of glance at are egg. Egg.